Today's video is about using your breath during resistance training. Breathing does more than just give you oxygen and take out carbon dioxide. It also provides a very important function of stabilizing your body while you're exerting force. And you need to exert force to move. The amount of stability that you need to take from breathing depends on how much force you're going to apply, and it depends on how long you need to apply that force. So if you need to apply the maximum amount of force possible that can be produced by your body, then you're going to have to turn your core completely rigid, hold your breath and push as hard as you can, or pull as hard as you can. That needs your breathing to stop. You need your core to turn rigid so that the force that is produced by your legs against the ground can be exerted into your hands. So that's your maximum effort force. Now if it's something where you need minimum force, like if you're walking, then you don't need your core to be rigid. If your core is rigid, you'll move like a robot. You will not be able to move fluidly. So that's the spectrum of force production, and the amount of stabilization you'll take from breathing depends on how much force you need. When it comes to strength training, it's not a single effort. You need to repeatedly apply force. So when you need to repeatedly apply force, you need to turn your core rigid when you need to apply force, and then you need to release your core so that you can take a deep breath using your diaphragm. So you will have to find movements within your movement pattern. You'll have to find periods of time where you can relax your core. This is what you get trained with when you use a club or a kettlebell. So you need an explosive movement where you turn completely rigid, and then you have to relax and take a breath and then get ready for the next explosive movement where you turn completely rigid again. So this will need circular breathing. So it's a circular movement, and it will need that circular pattern of breathing. So when you start working with a heavy load that is initially tough for you, you're going to have to hold your breath completely and push as hard as you can. As you get stronger, your arm is stronger, your shoulder is stronger, you don't need as much force as you did before, and then you're going to be able to breathe even while you're exerting force. So if I started off with a 24 kg bell which I couldn't press overhead, I would hold my breath, hold my core, and then push, right? The second, a few weeks later, when I'm strong enough to push it with less effort, then I'm going to be able to push while exhaling. Now imagine that our button is super strong, and now 24 is easy for me. Now I'm going to be able to inhale and press. Now if the weight I've become so strong that I don't need my breath to get stability. Now I can dissociate. I can separate my breathing from the force I'm exerting. So these are the 4 levels of breath assistance that you can use for stabilizing yourself. Now, depending on what stage of strength development you are in, you can then use your breath according to how you see fit. I'll just go through that once more. So the first stage, where you need as much stabilization as possible from your breath, that is going to be a complete hold of your breath in exhalation with your core rigid, and it's a sustained effort. The second stage is when you are exhaling, when your breath is moving but you're still exhaling. And the third stage is when you're inhaling, which is where the core is a little more loose. And the fourth stage is that you're so strong and that your stabilization is good enough for you to completely dissociate, and you can do whatever you want. For example, I'm talking to you while I'm moving my hands and legs. It's not, and I can inhale or exhale depending on. So that's the fourth stage. So you should be aspiring to a level of strength where you can do your activities in that manner, your day-to-day activities in that manner. At no point will you get to a stage where your strength is so great that your strength training becomes completely dissociated from breathing. So that's about it. I'll post in more detail as a blog post or as a write-up, so I can explain this better. But this is the idea that I wanted to get across for breathing. Thanks.